My name is Cindy Bowes. I am one of the coaches for Special Olympics, and I want to personally thank you for signing up to be a buddy at the annual Chad Powell track meet. Now let's go over some general information that you will need to know before we talk about the track meet itself.
Number 1 is weather. As you all know, Texas weather is crazy. You will need to be prepared the day of the event. Watch the weather that morning to know whether you need to bring a jacket, raincoat, sunscreen, with your sunglasses and a hat. The track meet will still happen even if it is raining.
Okay, number 2, things you'll need to bring. You'll need to bring a lunch, a backpack. You may want to bring a small ball, some bubbles, a fidget toy, or something to keep your athlete entertained while waiting for their event. When preparing your lunch that morning, make sure that you do not pack anything containing nuts. We have some athletes who have peanut allergies. Because some of our athletes are on special diets, do not share your lunch with them. If you yourself have a peanut allergy, please put an asterisk by your name on the sign-in sheet at the end of the meeting so that we can match you up with an athlete who also has peanut allergies.
Number 3, when you arrive at your campus, some schools will require the students to go to their first period class and be dismissed, while other campuses allow the students to go directly to the cafeteria and check in and get your information about the meet. When you meet in the cafeteria, you'll receive some very important items such as your name tag, containing your name and your athlete's buddy name, which will also have your athlete's school listed on it. You will also receive a map and a schedule of events along with the track meet shirt.
Number 4, after receiving the items in the cafeteria, you are ready to load the bus for the track meet. All the students must ride to and from the meet to have an excused absence. The only students not required to ride the bus to and from the meet is the school that is hosting the track meet. These students will simply walk across to the track after receiving information in the cafeteria.
Number 5, reading of the athlete's name tag. Let's look at the page you were given. In the top left-hand corner is Susie's name tag. It has her name on the first line. On the second line, it has her age and what school district she is representing. On the following 2 lines, it lists her events and the division. Now notice as you look at all the name tags on this page that the computer spits out the information in a certain pattern, no matter if they are a boy or a girl. It always lists the running events first, and then relays, and lastly, the athlete's field events. In our track meet, the boys always run first while the girls go to their field event, and then it switches and the girls will run while the boys go to their field event. It is sometimes confusing, but listen to the announcer and they will be giving you directives on where you should be heading with your athlete. I've tried to give you various examples of different types of name tags so that you may recall what you have seen and what to do after reading your athlete's name tag on the day of the event. Most athletes will have 2 events, which consist of a running event and a field event, while some athletes may only have 1 event, or at the most, an athlete will have 3 events because they are in a relay as well as their running event and their field event. Looking at the sheet, you will notice that they have a color under the division area with a number. The color and number on their name tag represent which A division they were in, and it determines where they should sit either behind the post, the cone, or the poly spot and wait for their event to begin. If you notice on Anne's name tag, she does not have a color listed under the division area, but she has an F2 for her race. The F symbolizes females, and the number 2 represents the heat number. If they are a male, then they will have an M and a heat number as well. There is a possibility that a group may not be divided by ages by having a color or an F or M, but may be participating in a race that says all, ALL. You will line them up behind the designated post, cone, or poly spot. Does anyone have any questions about reading the name tag or the order of events? If you do, please raise your hand to ask your question, or you can just wait until the meeting is over and ask your clarification then.
Now that you have arrived at the meet location, here are the sequence of events that will occur for the meet. Picking up athlete at the team area. The team areas are located inside the tennis courts. You will locate your athlete's designated area by looking for their school sign hanging up on the fence. You'll need to tell the coach the name of your athlete buddy, and they will assist you on getting the correct athlete.
Remember, you are responsible for your athlete once you have picked them up until the track meet is over and you have returned them to the team area. That means you need to stick with them like glue and not leave them unattended at any time. If you need to use the restroom, then you will need to ask someone to watch your athlete. Socializing with your friends should not be a high priority on this day, but it's okay to say hi to your friends. Just make sure that you always have your eyes on your athlete at all times, because some athletes are runners. And I'm not talking about just good runners on the track. I'm talking about an athlete who may take off when you are not looking, and you will have no idea where they went.
Now that the coach has given you your athlete, you will need to make sure that you get the athlete's lunch, water bottle, and any other items that they have that are needed for the day. You'll need to make sure to ask the coach if there's any useful information that you will need that can help you with your athlete for that day. For example, is there a certain time for a restroom break or a certain time to eat lunch? If you notice on the sheet that you were given of the examples of the track meet schedule, there is not a designated lunch time. You will need to eat lunch in between events or while you are waiting for the event to begin. They do not have to eat everything at once, but can snack a little throughout the day.
If your athlete is late and we are lining up for opening ceremonies, then you will need to wait for them at the gate of the track area. If your athlete is absent on this day, then you will go outside the tennis courts looking for the coordinator who will be wearing a fluorescent vest who will connect you with another athlete or give you another job for the day.
Now we're going to line up on the track for the opening ceremonies. After you have picked up your athlete, you then proceed to the track area looking for the athlete's school sign, and you will line up behind that sign to walk in the parade of the opening ceremonies. The Motor Police, along with the ROTC, will lead the groups for the opening ceremonies, where you will walk around the track as a group. As you turn into the football field at the 50-yard line, the announcer will announce your team group. Once all the groups have been announced and we are on the football field, we will have the presenting of colors, the national anthem, and the lighting of the torch. After the lighting of the torch, an athlete will say the Special Olympic oath, and all the athletes that are running the 200 will go to the designated area, while all other athletes and buddies will sit down in the middle of the football field to watch the 200-meter event. All persons are asked to sit down on the field so that the starter can be seen across the field by the timers. After the 200-meter people have finished their race, then the announcer will announce for all athletes to report to their first event. Remember, the boys are going to their running events first, and the girls are going to their field events. If your athlete was in the 200-meter dash, you are getting their ribbons. And after doing so, if you have a boy, they can cheer for all others. But if you have a girl athlete that ran the 200, they will need to go to their field event. When at the running event with your athlete, you need to make sure that you sit them down behind the post, cone, or poly spot and step away, keeping an eye on them so that once they are taken to the track and ready to run their race, then you can go to the finish line to pick them up. You are not allowed to run on the track with them or run along the side of the track. This will disqualify them. They're practicing for the upcoming opportunities to go to the spring games and summer games, which is considered the area and state level. So please make sure to follow the rules so that our athletes will not be disqualified for the higher level events and will have the opportunity to participate and possibly earn their letter jackets.
After the boys are finished with the running event, you will need to take them to the awards table on the field for their ribbon. When the girls are finished, you will need to take them to the designated awards area for the field event to get their ribbons. You will notice on the map that you are given on the day of the event, it will have the awards areas highlighted. Always remember, if you are not sure about something or where to go, ask an adult. They will help you.
After the first events are completed, the announcer will announce for all athletes to report to their second event. Boys will be going to their field event, while the girls will be going to their running event. Remember, they're not going to the relay. Although it's listed as the second event on their name tag, the relays are at the end of the track meet. Once again, you are taking your athlete to the awards table to get their ribbons from the events they just completed.
After getting the athlete's second ribbon, you are checking their name tag to see if they are in a relay. If your athlete is not in a relay, then you will return your athlete to the tennis courts at their team area. You cannot simply say, "Peace out," and leave them alone, but you will need to deliver them to the coach and remove any items from your backpack that you have been holding for them, like their jackets, water bottles, but most importantly, their ribbons. Just to put the importance of the ribbons into perspective, the athletes value these ribbons just as much as you value your phone.
After checking the name tag and realizing that your athlete is in a relay, you will need to see what color and number under the division area of the name tag and sit them down behind that post. Once they have been seated behind the post, you will step away, keeping an eye on them, but out of the way so that we can expedite the event quickly. Once your athlete has been placed on the track, you will need to go to the area where they will finish their leg of the race and pick them up to go and get their ribbons for their race. After receiving the ribbons, you will need to deliver them back to the team area. Once you have delivered your athlete to the team area, you will go to the assigned area where your school sponsor told you to meet for departures back to your campus. The track meet is completed and a fun day had by all.
Woo-hoo! Some housekeeping information. If you're having trouble with a buddy or need information, ask any adult and they will help you or find someone that can help you. You are responsible for missed work on the day of the meet. Be prepared on the day of the meet for any tests, quizzes, or homework that is needed to be turned in because we have canceled the meet before because of bad weather. So a good rule of thumb is always better to be prepared just in case. Confidentiality. Always speak positive about your athlete. Be encouraging, uplifting, and kind. Do not post any pictures on any social media. You are their superhero for the day, so be sure to cheer loud, give lots of high fives, knuckles, and make it the best day ever for all the athletes. We will now say the volunteer oath together. I promise to give of the time in my life so that Special Olympics athletes can have the time of their lives. I promise to support Special Olympics, not just as an expression of charity, but as a form of respect for my fellow human beings. I promise to spread the word of volunteerism because in giving, I receive so much more in return.
Hey, thanks for volunteering. Can't wait for the day of the event. We'll see you then.